8 signs your hair is warning you about your health. Did you know your hair could be screaming for help long before you feel anything wrong inside your body? I used to think hair fall or dull strands were just about shampoo or stress. But once I dug deeper, I found out your hair may reveal signs of serious health problems, like thyroid issues, vitamin deficiencies, or even autoimmune conditions. In this video, I'll walk you through 8 powerful signs your hair is warning you about your health. Now remember, while these signs are important, they're not a diagnosis. Always talk to a healthcare provider if something feels off or your symptoms persist. And stay tuned till the end. I'll also share how you may start protecting and healing your hair right at home with simple, natural tips. Now, let's get started. 1. Sudden hair thinning across the scalp. If you've noticed your hair suddenly looking thinner all over your scalp, not just in one spot, it's not just a cosmetic issue. This may be your body's quiet way of signaling that something deeper is off balance. One of the first things to understand is how tightly your hair growth is connected to your body's internal systems, especially your metabolism. Your hair needs a steady supply of nutrients and hormones to stay in a healthy growth cycle. But when your thyroid gland starts to underperform, something known as hypothyroidism, your metabolism slows down. That includes the metabolic activity of your hair follicles. So instead of staying in the active growing phase, a lot of those follicles shift into the resting or shedding phase. And because this happens all over your head, you notice an even, widespread thinning. But it's not just about the thyroid. Another major player here is your circulatory system, particularly how well oxygen and nutrients are being delivered through your blood. If your red blood cell count is low, or if you're running short on iron, your body prioritizes essential organs like your heart and brain. That means hair follicles get less oxygen and fewer nutrients, causing them to shrink or go dormant. What's wild is that your hair starts thinning months before you might even feel tired or notice other symptoms of iron deficiency. The good news is that you may absolutely take steps to turn things around. First, get a full blood panel done. Check your thyroid hormone levels and make sure your ferritin, which is your body's iron storage, is where it should be. If it's not, adding iron-rich foods like lentils, spinach, or grass-fed beef and pairing them with vitamin C may boost absorption. According to Page Press, hair thinning may signal stress-related inflammation, immune imbalance, aging nerve changes, or mental health issues like anxiety and depression. It's more than cosmetic, it reflects internal health. 2. Noticeable hair loss in patches. Imagine waking up one morning, running your fingers through your hair, and noticing a smooth, round, bald spot that wasn't there before. This kind of patchy hair loss, known as alopecia areata, is far more than a surface issue. It's often the first sign that your body's inner defense system is confused and misfiring. In this case, your immune system, which is supposed to protect you from viruses and infections, mistakenly sees your hair follicles as a threat. In response, it launches an attack on those follicles, especially in isolated patches, stopping hair production in those areas cold. It's like friendly fire happening beneath your scalp, and the more active the immune misfire, the larger or more frequent the bald spots become. This is not about your hair being weak, it's about your immune response going rogue. But the immune system doesn't act alone. Your nervous system, especially how it reacts to emotional stress, plays a huge part in triggering or worsening this type of hair loss. When your stress levels spike, your body releases high levels of cortisol and other stress hormones. These messengers don't just mess with your mood, they directly influence immune behavior. Studies have shown that high stress periods may lead to immune dysregulation, which may push alopecia areata into full flare. So yes, your mental health has a direct, physical effect on your scalp. Now let's talk solutions, because this isn't hopeless. First, calming the immune response is key. You may work with your healthcare provider to explore treatments like corticosteroid injections that may reduce inflammation in the affected areas. But that's only one layer. You've got to look at the whole picture. Supporting your immune system with zinc, vitamin D, and a balanced anti-inflammatory diet may make a real difference. Just as important is managing emotional stress, whether that's through journaling, regular exercise, or guided meditation. Even 10 minutes of deep breathing daily may train your nervous system to stay calm and lower cortisol output over time. 3. Hair that breaks easily. Your hair is made almost entirely of a protein called keratin, which relies on a steady supply of amino acids to stay strong and flexible. But when your body isn't getting enough protein or can't absorb it properly due to gut issues like celiac disease or inflammatory bowel disease, it starts to prioritize other tissues that are more vital to survival, like muscles and organs. Your hair, being non-essential in the biological sense, gets the short end of the stick. This lack of building blocks weakens the hair shaft from the inside out, leaving it brittle, fragile, and prone to breaking even with minimal pressure. Another major reason behind hair breakage is a malfunction in your adrenal glands. These tiny glands sit on top of your kidneys and regulate your body's stress response by releasing cortisol. But when they're constantly overworked due to chronic stress or lack of sleep, they may cause your body to enter a catabolic state. That means instead of building tissue, your body starts breaking it down. That includes collagen, skin proteins, and yes, even the proteins that make up your hair. High cortisol levels may also deplete nutrients like biotin and vitamin B5, which are essential for maintaining the elasticity and integrity of your hair structure. But here's the good news: you may absolutely change the course. Start by making sure your diet is rich in high-quality proteins like eggs, lentils, lean meats, or tofu. If you've had digestion issues, talk to your doctor about checking for malabsorption conditions or vitamin deficiencies, especially in zinc, iron, and biotin. Also, protect your adrenal health by improving your sleep hygiene and practicing stress reduction rituals that feel natural to you, whether it's a warm bath before bed or cutting back on caffeine. Add in gentle scalp massages using oils like rosemary or pumpkin seed oil to support circulation and nourish the roots. According to Dermatology Practical and Conceptual, nutrient deficiencies, such as low protein, niacin, or micronutrients, may lead to hair loss, including telogen effluvium and diffuse alopecia. 4. Dry, lifeless hair that lacks luster. Hair that lacks shine and feels dry to the touch often reflects an internal imbalance that goes way beyond surface-level care. One of the most overlooked reasons behind dull, dry hair is a disruption in your liver's ability to process and distribute essential fats. Your liver plays a key role in metabolizing fatty acids and fat-soluble vitamins like D and E, all of which are crucial for keeping your scalp moisturized and your hair strands smooth and shiny. When liver function is sluggish, whether from a poor diet, alcohol, medications, or even non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it may reduce bile production. And bile is what your body uses to break down fats properly. Without that, your scalp doesn't get the nourishment it needs, and your hair begins to show it dry, brittle, and without that natural glow. Another internal factor tied to lifeless hair is poor hydration at the cellular level, often caused by an imbalance in your kidneys. Your kidneys regulate fluid levels and electrolytes throughout your body, including the scalp. When they're under stress due to high sodium intake, poor circulation, or even unmanaged blood pressure, they may affect how well your cells hold onto water. That results in dehydration, not just in your skin, but in your scalp's oil glands. And when your scalp isn't producing enough sebum, the natural oil that coats your hair strand, the outer cuticle becomes rough and light, no longer reflects off it, leaving your hair dull and lifeless. And to reverse this, focus on healing from the inside out. Include foods rich in healthy fats like avocados, walnuts, chia seeds, and fatty fish to support liver function. Cut back on sugar, alcohol, and processed foods to give your liver a break. Also, stay properly hydrated, not just with water, but with electrolyte-rich fluids like coconut water or adding a pinch of sea salt and lemon to your glass. According to ResearchGate, hair luster reflects overall hair health and is influenced by changes in keratin-associated protein genes. Nutrient-related or environmental stress may alter these genes, affecting keratin cross-linking and reducing hair shine, highlighting a key molecular factor behind dull-looking hair. 5. Premature graying before age 30. When you start spotting gray hairs in your 20s, or even late teens, it's easy to blame genetics or stress. But premature graying before age 30th may be your body's way of signaling that something deeper isn't working right. It's not just about color loss, it's often a sign that your cells are struggling to produce or protect the pigment that gives your hair its natural shade. At the root of every hair is a tiny pigment cell called a melanocyte. These cells make melanin, the same pigment that gives color to your skin and eyes. But to keep producing melanin consistently, these cells rely heavily on vitamin B12. When you don't have enough B12 due to poor diet, malabsorption issues, or autoimmune conditions like pernicious anemia, your melanocytes can't function properly. They either slow down or stop making pigment altogether, and new hair starts growing in gray or white. What's alarming is that this deficiency might be happening silently, long before you notice other symptoms like fatigue or memory issues. Another key reason for early graying lies in how your body handles oxidative stress. Every day, your cells produce free radicals as a byproduct of metabolism. Normally, your body uses antioxidants like glutathione and catalase to neutralize these harmful molecules. But when antioxidant levels drop, or the free radicals spike due to things like smoking, poor sleep, or pollution, your melanocytes get damaged. The enzyme catalase, in particular, breaks down hydrogen peroxide in hair follicles. If it's missing or underperforming, hydrogen peroxide builds up and literally bleaches your hair from the inside out, leaving it gray or white. According to research, premature graying is linked to high oxidative stress and low antioxidant levels in the body. Hair graying severity correlates with higher oxidative markers and lower antioxidant defenses. To slow this process down, you've got to work on both restoring nutrients and protecting your cells. Make sure your diet is rich in B12 sources like eggs, dairy, and fortified cereals, or consider supplements if you're plant-based. It's also smart to get your levels tested, especially if you've had gut issues or fatigue. 6. Excessive hair shedding post-illness. You've just gotten over the flu, a fever, or maybe even surgery, and a few weeks later, you notice clumps of hair coming out in the shower or on your pillow. Excessive hair shedding after illness is real, and it's called telogen effluvium. When your body is fighting off an illness, it goes into survival mode. That means it temporarily shuts down non-essential functions, and one of the first systems to be affected is your hair growth cycle. Normally, most of your hair is in the active growing phase. But during intense physical stress, like a high fever, infection, or surgery, your body diverts energy away from your hair follicles. As a result, a large number of hairs enter the resting phase all at once. Then, about 2 to 3 months later, they start shedding. This isn't random, it's your body's delayed response to a biological stress alarm. Moreover, the disruption of your body's inflammatory response is a significant contributor to this type of hair loss. When you get sick, your immune system releases inflammatory molecules called cytokines to fight off pathogens. But that inflammation doesn't just stay in your lungs or gut, it circulates throughout your entire system, including your scalp. These cytokines may interfere with the hair follicle's ability to stay in the growth phase, pushing them prematurely into rest. And when the inflammation lingers, even subtly, it may stretch the shedding phase out for longer than you expect. According to Dove Press, male and female pattern hair loss is linked to inflammation. Immune cells like T cells and lymphocytes attack hair follicles, disrupting growth. Inflammatory genes are also active. Treating inflammation may help slow hair loss and improve results. To help your hair recover, you need to support your body's healing process from the inside. That means focusing on restoring nutrient stores that might have been depleted, especially zinc, vitamin D, and iron. These are critical for restarting healthy follicle activity. 7. oily scalp and greasy hair despite washing. One of the biggest drivers of excess oil production on the scalp is a hormonal shift, especially when it comes to androgens like testosterone and DHT. These hormones signal the sebaceous glands in your scalp to produce more sebum, the natural oil that keeps your scalp and hair moisturized. But when those hormones are elevated or overly sensitive, your scalp may go into overdrive, producing way more oil than your hair actually needs. This is common in people with polycystic ovary syndrome, insulin resistance, or even as a response to hormonal birth control changes. The oiliness isn't random, it's directly tied to how your endocrine system is firing. An additional internal trigger that is frequently overlooked is the microbiome of your skin, more specifically the equilibrium of bacteria and yeast that resides on your scalp's surface. Your scalp, just like your gut, has its own ecosystem. When this balance is disrupted, say from antibiotic use, poor diet, or even overwashing, it creates an environment where yeast like Malassezia may overgrow. This yeast thrives in oily areas and actually feeds on sebum. As it grows, it triggers your scalp to produce even more oil in an attempt to flush out the irritation, creating a cycle that's hard to break. The result? That slick, greasy texture that won't go away no matter how often you shampoo. To calm this down, you need to target both the oil production and the underlying triggers. Start by supporting hormonal balance with foods rich in zinc, magnesium, and omega-3s, things like pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, and wild-caught fish. Managing blood sugar through consistent, low glycemic meals may also help regulate androgen spikes. 8. Change in hair texture. A sudden change in hair texture is one of the sneakiest ways your body may tell you that something deeper is shifting inside. The human endocrine system, and more specifically the levels of estrogen and progesterone, is one of the most significant factors that determines the texture of your hair. These hormones don't just regulate your cycle or mood, they also affect how your body maintains hydration, collagen, and elasticity in tissues, including your hair shaft. When levels begin to drop, like during perimenopause, after pregnancy, or due to hormonal imbalances caused by stress or certain medications, the structure of the hair strand changes. Your cuticle, which is the outermost layer of the hair, may lift or become uneven, causing your hair to feel rougher and look more frizzy or dry. What used to be sleek might start reacting differently to humidity, heat, or even styling products because the internal balance that once protected its texture has shifted. Being able to absorb important nutrients for healthy hair, like proteins and fatty acids, depends on how well your gut microbiome is doing. When your gut is inflamed or imbalanced due to antibiotics, chronic stress, processed foods, or conditions like IBS, it affects how your body processes essential nutrients like omega-3s, zinc, and biotin. These are crucial for maintaining the internal lipid layer of the hair strand, which keeps it flexible and strong. Without them, the strand becomes rigid, loses its bounce, and reacts differently to styling, weather, and even water. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but when it does, the change in texture may be dramatic. For gut support, cut back on sugar and ultra-processed foods and start adding in fermented foods like kimchi, yogurt, or kefir, which help replenish good bacteria. Topically, stick to sulfate-free products and consider adding a leave-in conditioner with ceramides or hyaluronic acid to help seal the cuticle. Moving on, here are 5 easy tips to protect your hair health at home. If you're like me, you've probably tried every product promising perfect hair, but sometimes your hair just needs the basics done right. You don't need expensive treatments or salon visits to protect your strands. In fact, there's a lot you may do right at home to keep your hair strong, shiny, and healthy. Here are 5 simple tricks that actually work. 1. Don't overwash your hair. Washing your hair too often strips it of natural oils that keep it moisturized and protected. Aim for 2 to 3 times a week, unless you're sweating heavily or using a lot of product. This helps your scalp balance itself and prevents dryness and breakage. 2. Use lukewarm water, not hot. Hot showers may feel amazing, but they may weaken your hair shaft and dry out your scalp. Use lukewarm or cool water when rinsing your hair. It helps seal the cuticle and boosts shine naturally. 3. Wrap. Don't rub your hair with a towel. Instead of rubbing your wet hair with a towel, which causes friction and breakage, gently wrap it in a soft cotton t-shirt or microfiber towel. It soaks up water without damaging the strands. 4. Massage your scalp daily. I've started giving myself a quick 3-minute scalp massage every night, and trust me, it works. It boosts blood flow, stimulates hair follicles, and promotes growth. You may use your fingers or a scalp brush. 5. Let your hair breathe at night. Skip tight hairstyles or heavy oils before bed. Instead, loosely braid your hair or let it flow freely on a silk or satin pillowcase to reduce friction, frizz, and breakage while you sleep. Hair health isn't just about how it looks, it's a reflection of what's going on inside you. Every single strand may carry clues about your nutrition, hormones, immune system, and more. I know it's easy to blame bad hair days on products or weather, but when your hair suddenly changes, gets thinner, duller, or just feels off, it could be your body trying to tell you something important. If you're noticing any of these changes, don't just brush it off. I really recommend you speak with a healthcare provider. You might need some blood work or a nutrition check to figure out what's really happening. Trust me, your hair might be the first messenger your body is sending, and if you catch the signs early, you may take control before things get worse. Now that we have discussed the many signs your hair is warning you about your health, let's keep the conversation going with a couple more videos. Shall we? Watch 11 powerful health benefits of eating onions daily. You may also try our video on 11 health benefits of ashwagandha for optimal health. Go ahead, click one. Or better yet, watch both. How do you perceive your hair's health? Let us know in the comments below.